I'm Martin Sadler from Dent-Remover, and I'm going to show you how I repair 4 or 5 small to medium bodyline dents on this Dodge Challenger SRT. What a monster, 6.1 litres of Hemi engine. Grab a brew, stick around and enjoy. Okay, I'm going to run through the damage very quickly. So I've already wrote it all up. So I've got some small dents and I've got one medium dent. The small dents are ranging from 5mm to 20mm, and then we've got a 50mm with a slight crown at the top, and then we've got the medium dent, which is the main one, and that is 130mm. That's got a larger crown at the top, and that is the one that's going to take some time to fix. These smaller ones, these smaller bodyline dents, they're not going to take a lot of effort and time to fix. But this is the main dent that the customer asked about, and I'm going to fix it. Also, I forgot to mention access. How do I get to the back of these dents? The door isn't too bad. We can take the window down, put a protector on the window so we don't scratch it, drop a bar down there, and we can get to these 2 dents very easily. On the wing, we've got an arch liner, so that's made from plastic. You could just take a few clips out, pull it out of the way, get a long bar in there, and then I can tweak the dents out. So I'm going to wipe all this off and show you how I fix these dents. So I'm taking off a few of these pen marks just so I can get a bit of a clearer view. Okay. And I'm kneeling on the latest reflector mat. There you go, Woodpecker, from Woodpecker UK. If you want one of these, they're absolutely amazing. Okay, and you can see so much with them. Lay it on the floor like that and you can cross-check sideways and up and down. And they're very comfy to kneel on as well. Right, so I need to warm up the panel first and then I can get the bar in. And this is the hula hoop bar. Slide it straight in between the panel. Find the tip of my bar. To do this, I'm putting light pressure on the back side of the panel and looking for the tip to make an impression, which I can then pick up on a reflection board. So I've done a few pushes there. I'm not going to go any further with that because I need to tap the crowns down first, and the crowns of the is this area here. So what's happened is the impact has hit the panel, and as the dent's gone in, it's sort of like pushed the metal as like waves. So the waves are crowns, so those need to be tapped down, and that will release the tension, and the dent will come out. And for this, I'll be using another Old Faithful. This is my Crow Carb. I don't think you can get them anymore, like I say in all my videos, but you can buy the screw tip version, which is just as good. Okay, here we go. Okay, so just by addressing that crown, I've almost reduced it to the size of this 50mm one, and that's just by tapping down. So now I'm going to rewarm it, just get the temperature in the panel, get a bar behind there, and see how it goes. Right, let's see what happens. Us Brits, we're not used to this American steel. Yeehaw. So there's lots of reheating and pushing, tapping down. These types of dents, especially bodyline dents, they don't just pop out. There is a lot of work that is required to repair these. But it's coming out nice. Right on that bodyline. There we are, that line's coming out nice now. So what I'll need to do is drop down on my screw tips, go from this soft plastic cap to a bullet tip, plastic bullet tip, just because it's a bit sharper, so I can use less pressure on the bar and I can move more. Okay. Also, I need to be a little bit more precise with my taps. Going from the flat nose knockdown where I can move a lot of metal quickly to a sharper, slightly sharper. This is called a cherry cap. I'm sure you've heard this a million times in my other videos. I can move a lot of metal precise enough without making any more work for myself. Just lightly tapping it as well. Although it sounds like I'm hitting it really hard, I'm not. Okay, on to the other tip now. Just take that soft cap off and I'm going to go onto, if you can see it, there you go. So this is a bullet tip which I've shaved down myself and I find it great to work with. And just check the heat. Yeah, temperature of the panel, it's okay. And back in. Straight away I can notice a difference in tips. I'm not pulling so much on the bar and I'm getting a lot more movement where the dent is. I hope you're enjoying this video so far, and if you have any questions about this repair, feel free to add them in the comments section below this video. So I need a bit more heat now. I'm going right for the centre of this dent now. Just get you in on this. So at the moment this is looking like a right old mess, but I'm slowly easing out the deepest part of this damage. The trouble is when I'm trying to push directly, my tooltip tends to slip slightly, and that's why you may see a few missed pushes, but it's not too much of an issue. As the damage is still coming out, it just means a bit more tidy up with the hammer and knockdown. Okay, so I'm starting to struggle a little bit with my hula hoop bar. So what I'm going to do is just swap to the double bend screw tip bar. This one. Okay. This is one of my favourites. I use it absolutely every day. If I'm not using the glue, that is. But I slide it in there. I am using my hand for a bit of leverage. There is devices out there which you can use. For instance, could use the moose knuckle, and also Stucky have just brought out a new kind of handle which just surrounds your hand, and it is great for levering off. I haven't got one yet, but I will do soon. But this is feeling a lot better now. Yeah, I'm just working underneath the bodyline now. Just pull that slight low out. But again, when I first started, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but when I first started, or before I started, sorry, all this was very flexible. It was popping in, popping out, but as this dent's come out, it's strengthened right up. Need a bit more heat. And just tap a few highs down. Okay, so Like I say, this fender, this wing is strong as hell, and it's all about leverage, taking dents out. So if we look where my hand is in relation to the bar, pull this out. So we've got about 50-50 leverage there. I'm putting quite a lot of effort into this bar. I am moving the dent, but very, very slowly. So if I was to extend this bar and again put a sharper tip on the end, it would make it a lot easier to lift the dent out. So I've got this big boy, okay? Look how big this is. Look at that. It's double the size. So I can lever off the bar, and that is where the leverage point is, and I've got all that to play with. So about a quarter of the way down is my leverage point, so I've got 3/4 of this bar to use as leverage. Straight in there. Ta-da, there you go. It's all about trial and error with PDR. Most of the time you can just pick a bar up and get in there and just do a job nice and easy. I've not worked on one of these, so this is quite new to me. This steel I'm not very familiar with, and the leverage points. So I am getting there. It's just taking a bit of time. But already I can see that this is gonna make my life a lot easier using this bar. In the UK, we don't really see a lot of these American muscle cars, and I personally haven't dealt with many of these repairs over the years. But from my experience, especially with this Dodge Challenger, the body panels in my opinion are similar to our classic vehicles. Well made, thick steel with large straight flowing features and designs. The main types of vehicles we have in the UK, mainly European and Japanese makes, these tend to have super thin panels, usually with a lot of curves, body lines and more rounded features on the bodywork. Okay, so I've been going for about half an hour. I swapped onto the smaller screw tip bar, and I've also put on a lot sharper tip. So this is an Edgy Tools Gator V-tip, that's what it's called if you want to buy one. This is super sharp, and because it's so sharp I don't need that long bar to get in there. And I've just been picking out the really small imperfections, and I'm happy with how this main dent has gone. The trouble is, because of all the other dents and because of all the other distortion of the panel, there's only so much that I can do. So now I need to move on to this next dent. Once this dent's done, I've got about that much to play with, top and bottom, so then I can blend the panel out. But realistically, once all these dents are out, then I can blend the top and the bottom and get that body line looking super nice. So the 130mm dent is done for now, and I'm on to the 50mm dent. Now this one is a little bit further into the panel, so again leverage comes into this. If I was to get my hula hoop bar, I'm going to be reaching right in there. There's a lot of, it's just not going to be ideal really. So I'm just going to pop my plastic soft tip on there and use this very long bar because this is the obvious choice. So I just need to undo that and pop the soft tip on. Here we go, round two. Just take that off there so I can see where it is. Like I said before, I'll try and keep on these marks, keep the marks on the panel so you can inspect it for yourself once I'm done. Okay, this bar is absolutely ideal for this. Tapping it down again with the flat nose knockdown.
Tapping the top part of this dent gradually pushes the bulging metal down into the panel, releasing the locked-in tension and also lessening the dent below. Watch carefully and you'll see this dent slowly getting smaller whilst I'm carefully manipulating the area back into its original shape. Once the crown and the surrounding areas have been reduced, I can go back in behind the dent with some precise pushes, lifting the remaining damage up.
Again, this dent is coming out really well. I just need to change my tip, so I'm going removing the blunt bullet tip and I'm putting on a sharp bullet tip. You can see that. Okay, and I've got a small 1-inch extension on there as well. And back in. Because it's a sharper tip, I need to warm the panel up a little bit. Just makes everything flow a little bit easier. I have checked the paintwork and it is about 214 microns thick. It's just on the thick side, but I don't know what American paintwork's like because I don't really deal with it. So to me, it sounds pretty thick. Usually it's about less than 165, something like that for our European cars. So it could have had a paint job in its past. It might not have. I don't know the history. It looks okay. So I'm right on the deepest part of this dent now. There's only a little bit left on this, and this bullet tip is really helping me out pick that last little low up. Oh God. Yeah. God, it's like trying to take a wheel off a car. Breaker bar. A few little high areas just to tidy up. And for this I'm using a nylon knockdown, so I was using the cherry cap earlier. This is nylon one. Again, it's a little bit sharper, so you can be a little bit more precise without damaging the painted surface. Okay, that is the 50mm dent done. I'll show you in a second, and then I can carry on fixing these little ones, and then I can blend the panel until it's done.
Taking a closer look using my reflection source, we can see that the repaired area only has a few slight ripples and imperfections left. That's fine for now, and I'll come back to this area later.
Now that I've managed to level these two main dents up, I can now take these smaller dents out. So these are very, very simple dents to do. Again, I'll just wipe that mark off. Literally just a couple of pushes like that, and the dent's out. And I'm going to go for this one next. I just need to put my line board back a little bit because this is quite a shallow dent. So what I'm going to do is just going to swap the hula hoop around and just use the handle because it's been plastic coated. It just saves 2 seconds swapping that tip.
Okay, I've put you in my seat for a minute, and this is what I see daily when I'm repairing dents. Using the reflection of the line board on the damaged panel, I can read the lines and pinpoint the damage. So how does this work? Well, I'll explain quickly. You can see that when I'm pushing from the inside, those lines distort. If the reflection of those lines open up, this indicates a low area or an inward dent. So when I push the dent out with my PDR tool, those same lines will knit together and tighten, indicating that the dent has been lifted out. but if they stay nipped together, this indicates a higher than normal position of the panel or a high spot. So I need to gently tap this area down with a knockdown and hammer. During the repair I will repeat this process a few times over until I have a nice even reflection with no ripples.
And finally I've got these two to repair on this fender front wing. And then I can, like I say, I can blend out the top above and below the bodyline and get this fender wing looking mint. Just need to get a bar that's gonna fit right up there. So there we go. Quite a way through that wing. I'm just gonna pop on my soft cap, plastic soft tip. That one. Okay. Slide it all the way up there. Let's see if I can get onto the back. Yes, I can. Right, let's get you in there so you can watch these dents getting taken out. The first dent I'm going to take out is the one right on the edge there. Get my bar into position inside that wing. And just ease that dent out. There we go. Now I'm onto this one. This one will be a little bit harder to repair, so I'm going to just get the heat gun on there.
I have to constantly warm the area up to around 70 to 90 degrees C, as I don't want to damage the paint, mainly trying to avoid any paint damage like hairline splits when I'm pushing from the inside. But also, the warmer the panel, the more malleable the area is too. These bodyline dents are super tough, like I've already mentioned, with so much pressure being applied to the back of the panel and the dent. And another thing I need to be careful of is because I'm using a long bar, I need to hold it tight. One foul push with my tip, this could shoot sideways and create a long high crease, and I really don't want the added work at this stage of the repair, and believe me, those mistakes happen fast. So after some more time carefully tweaking this area up, you'll notice that this dent has been massively reduced. Overall, the reflection of those lines are nice and uniform, with just a small area which is all that's left to finish.
So close, so close. That's the last dent done on this wing, and I'll just show you the tip setup I ended up using. So before I've been using an inch extension, but I put on a bigger extension. I think that's a 2-inch extension, and I also put on the sharper bullet tip. It was quite difficult because obviously you've got to push, you've got to keep that tip steady as well, because if you slip with that you're going to put some nasty lines in that panel. But all good, all done. Now what I need to do is just blend this body line from here to the end, really, backwards and forwards, and just get the panel above and below the body line all nice and uniform. So again, I'm not going to wipe off these marks, just going to keep the marks on so we can see a nice before and after at the end of this video.
So I talk about blending, but what does that mean? Well, basically I'm looking for slight ripples, highs and lows, and using a reflection to pinpoint these areas, I can use my blending hammer to gently tap the high part of these ripples down. This basically lowers the high ripple to match the reflection of the slight low. And using this method over and over again, blends the panel and reflection into one smooth, uniform state. And that's blending basics.
The front wing fender is looking really good now. I've blended both above and below the bodyline. It's looking really nice. But there's two more dents that I need to fix, and that is on the front door. So to access these dents on the bodyline, the easiest way to do that is to drop the window down, and then once the window is down, we can get through a gap between the rubber. So what we do is we put a window guard between the window and the panel where the dent is. This one's got felt on the back, so it looks after the glass and doesn't scratch it or prevents any scratching. So we just slide it down like that, pop it into the bottom, and then using the chalk, can just open up that window gap like that. And then using a door bar, you can slide it through the gap down to where the dent is, and then I can start leaving out like that. So popping it in like this. Make sure you don't scratch any of this. The A-post or any of the rubber trims, don't nip them or catch them. Pop it in like that. And then once it's in, you can manoeuvre it to the dent. And that's it, I'm on the dent. Right, I'm going to fix this now. And now the final one, final dent. So this damage does, thank you, this damage does have some kind of paintwork damage as well. It has been repaired in the past, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift it up a tiny little bit just to take your eye off it, so that when you're looking down the panel it doesn't shimmer. But we're not going to do anything with the actual damage, sorry, with the damage on the paint. Just need to manoeuvre my my bar and handle without damaging any of that. Just move that back a little bit so I can have a look. Okay, that is all the dents done. Thank you for watching this video till the end. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. That is it for now. I'm Martin Sadler from Dent-Remover. See you on the next video, and cheers.